What's this?
A gift from our humble establishment. Though it may not look like much, it should help you to break the ice with those you meet.
Queen's blood?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth introduces a new minigame called Queen's Blood, which you can challenge NPCs around the FF7 world too. I highly recommend that you don't skip the tutorial because, spoiler alert, one of the early side quests involves playing against 3 Queen's Blood players. While it's possible to muddle your way through and still win a game, it becomes more enjoyable if you challenge someone to Queen's Blood knowing that your chances of winning are pretty good. Here are my top tips for playing Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood is played on a board, and like any good board game, the player who controls the board controls the outcome of the game. I think chess master Anna Kramling said it best.
First and foremost, that you should try to take center in the beginning of the game, right? So you should try to, as much as possible, take as much center as you can. 2, you should develop your minor pieces first. Before you get your queen out, your rooks out, before you go and have fun with these pieces, your bishops and knights should develop.
So during your first few turns, placing cards which claim positions on the board and enable more powerful cards to be placed later should be your top priority. Unlike chess, where all the pieces are visible at the start, Queen's Blood is played with a deck of 15 cards, and you hold up to 5 cards in your hand at a time. There's an element of randomness here, so to increase your chances of getting a good hand, one tip is to check how balanced your deck is. I recommend having 7 or 8 cards that need 1 pawn to place, 5 cards that need 2 pawns, and then the rest can be a mix of 2 or 3 pawn cards. Don't forget that 1 pawn cards also become important later in the game, when most of the board is already occupied, and they can really turn the tide in your favor. Another tip to improve your hand is learn when to mulligan. This mechanic is also used in other card games like Magic the Gathering. So, if you get too many powerful cards at the start of your game, you can press triangle to pick the ones that you want to swap for other cards in your deck, and then press cross to draw new cards and start the game. The main objective of Queen's Blood is to get the higher total power in every lane. So keep an eye on those numbers at either end. Remember, it's not enough to occupy most of the board. If the lanes aren't lighting up on your side of the board, then you haven't won yet. Those are my top tips for playing Queen's Blood. Now go out there and whoop some QB players' ass. I'm really enjoying this minigame, and I think it's a great addition to FF7 Rebirth. If you have any other tips for playing Queen's Blood, please share them with me in the comments below.